Good afternoon, Scott Redler, T3 Live. Welcome to today's recap. So what an interesting day. Okay, it's Tuesday. Started the day, the market was up a little bit, and then obviously Europe started to get hit. The DAX broke 10,800. Everyone, I think Chinese, you know the media rule we talk about, they probably mentioned the correction or the crash in the Chinese markets 50 times, saying in the media. That means we probably bounce there tomorrow. But anyway, what happened was we broke below the level we were talking about. We were talking about 205.28 to 205.53 in the spiders. What was going to happen? Were we going to break below it? And then, would they steal stock and trigger stops and cascade it lower and then find support and reclaim it for, you know what that is, a red dog reversal? Or would it get below it, stay below it, and then all of a sudden, promote or induce more weakness as, no interest down their buy side? So, when you come into the day, you never know what's going to happen. You have to have a few different thoughts in your head. And I came in with like 5 longs. First, I got stopped out of a few of them when the first 20-minute low broke, and then I think I made a lot of my money back. Actually, short the spiders. Yes, Red Dog shorted, below that 205.50, covered well, and then I actually joined the rally a little bit later than I would have liked, and then I had to go on Fox Business, so I missed a few things. But a lot of you guys have been trying to teach you how to fish for a while now. You all know the pivots. You all know when it breaks below, and if the sellers are in control, they stay below. And if not, and it reclaims that area, you could buy right there, put a stop at the low of the day, and then go fishing or go to the beach or go out for drinks. And then at the end of the day, maybe you take off 2/3, you hold a third for follow through, because sometimes you get that. And follow through in this market, it's been hard to come by, but every now and then you get it. So you take a quick look at the spiders. Okay, so we came in today not knowing how would the market treat the 200-day moving average right here. A lot of people have a lot of stops here. Okay. A lot of people think if you close below the 200-day moving average, weakness sets in and you can see lower prices, which is true. Okay, what did you know if we were to have broken that level, and where could we have gone? Okay, you had a point of reference right here. This was 204.12. Besides some of these other little spots along the way, that was the lowest spot besides this. So all of a sudden, and again, this was your neckline break of this head and shoulders top pattern, which at the time we were spending a lot of time below, and it definitely looked weaker. Again, I was pretty defensive today, and then you had this move. Okay, the spiders went right to this number. I actually put a order to cover 204.16 because I figured maybe it gets here, and that'll be good enough for me to make money short. I don't love to do that, or I have a hard time doing it. And then boom, I came back and it was we were already off to the races, and then I had to pay up a little bit. So let's look at this in the 5 minutes so you can see how that works. Okay, and I want to explain to you the mentality of it. Okay, so here again is that 200-day moving average line. So first of all, you opened up and right away got a red candle. So right here, if you had a stop versus low, okay, you basically got stopped out and said, I have no idea where this market's going. I got to get the, out of the way just in case we do crash, like Faber says, or all these people say, or Doug Cass, or whoever those guys are that short. So once it broke this 205.55, that's when also people maybe who shorted here or have been short said, now I'm going to add. And you had to move. Okay, look at this move lower. Not so extreme, but you had to move down to the low here of 204.25, and then bounced up and even made a new low. Okay, and here was that low at 204.11. So with that said, I think that's when the virtual trade force saw me cover my short. Kind of lucky. Okay, and then the next thing you had to think about is, which I tweeted, I said, now you need to see if the sellers can reject price at this 205.25 to 205.50, because that is the line in the sand. That is the spot. And first of all, another little red dog reversal on a 5 minute. Some people who trade 5 minutes, that was a decent candle right there, where it kind of just engulfed the prior one. So if you look on a smaller time frame, which some of us do, that was a spot to, even if you didn't cover the bottom, which was luck, you could have covered into that bar and said, let me revisit. And then really what happened here is, this is a pretty potent move. Look how fast this move was. This is what you call almost an igniting bar. Okay, and not only did it ignite, it ignited and it penetrated into the zone. So if this was going to fail right here, it should have failed. Okay, so what did it do? Okay, it actually kind of held in there. And, you know, think to yourself, what is this pattern? This is called a bull flag, right? And what do you have here? You know, a move from here, all it did is retrace not even 25% of this, or the third. So that's showing some commitment. So if you didn't cover here, you know, people would probably say, okay, I better cover here, you know, if it gets back above this, because that means it's reclaiming the 200-day moving average, and it's back above the prior low, and Red Dog says that's a Red Dog reversal. I could even get long there. Or you could just cover and then revisit. So all of a sudden, pow. You know, that move went above this 20, you know, what was that, 205.55, all the way up to 206.16. So now you have a really big move, right? From 204 to 206, right back into resistance. If you made some good money, you know, buying it right here, maybe you sell some, and then the question is, does it hold this? Okay, so now I'm thinking to myself, so if you're thinking, you know, out loud, you know, you want this to hold above this and show commitment to it. Okay, and now, you know, what does it do again? Boom. Came in, and now it's riding the 5-minute 8-day this entire way up. So it's not letting any shorts out that want to come out, and it's really, you know, not letting longs in unless you friggin' were real quick right there. So now, also, if this was feeble, it would never have penetrated all the way into, you know, this resistance right there. Okay, and then what happened? Okay, then all of a sudden it's going sideways, going sideways, going sideways. Okay, let's see what's happening here. You know, wow, boom. Okay, so, you know, from where it bottomed to this spot right here, you know, with your little lunchtime, what's it called, consolidation, you know, it never retraced more than, let's just even stay here, never retraced more than a third of it. So if you do your Fibonacci retracements, which is something that some guys like to do to figure out, you know, how strong was this move off the lows. So from here all the way up to there, okay, it didn't retrace more than the 0.382%, which shows you some strength. And then here's your other pivot, so 207. That's how high it got. So, you know, that's your spot, and that's also another pivot, and then boom. Okay, and then, you know, all of a sudden, that's how you closed. So, you know, that was your rubber match spot for the day. So now you go back to the daily chart, and let's go just to the SPX because I didn't mark it up as much. Okay, the question is, what is next? Okay, at this point, this should relieve some pressure. You know, the way the market is, the whole trap thing, whatever. You know, this, in my opinion, is, you know, the good book says take a third of what you had intraday long. Okay, and then if you look here, it still could come back up to here before, you know, hitting some real resistance, which is around 295. First thing it's got to do is clear 285. Okay, last time, you know, I saw this type of move was right here. Remember when everyone and their grandmother was saying how it was going to break this spot, and once it broke the spot, it was done, and you had this small move, and then boom. That was your next day follow through, and then we made new highs. So here was that same kind of red dog reversal, and that was around that 1989 area. So, you know, I tweeted, I think, at 11:46 saying this has the makings, or 12:46, of the February outside day red dog reversal. So just look at it. I like to talk about other candles so you could see what happened then, because patterns tend to repeat themselves. So now here you are there, huge travel range. So we'll see what's next here. Okay, and let's put some volume in. I think there was, you know, there was some decent volume today too. So volume and that. So you would think that you know, you can get something here. Okay, this volume that's in the SPX, you don't see it. You'll see in the spiders. Decent volume in the spiders, not crazy volume, but decent. Okay, then go to the XLE. XLE has been in a downtrend. It's been a disaster. Okay, but what did you have here? You had a, you know, decent red dog reversal, maybe day one on some volume. So if you were short from this outside day right here, you know, and you stayed the course, congratulations. That's a lot of choppy, just a whole lot of nothing. Maybe today you covered, and then you see what's next there in the XLE. Big travel ranges in like the IWM. Also, you know, red dog reversal right here when it traded below the prior low, came back up. Now we'll see if that builds. Didn't even hit the 200 days, so that shows you some relative strength. The IBBs, you know, held in there real well, where it's, you know, above actually the 50-day here and going sideways, so showing you some leadership. Didn't make it all the way down to the 200 day, so that's, you know, still in there. And then, you know, I did come in long some China yesterday on the close. Around the close, I bought the FXI into the down move, bought a little bit more, traded around it, still lost money in it, and I have a tiny bit more than I had last night. You look at the FXI. You know, to me, this looks like this could be a capitulation move. Look at the size of the volume here. You know, came into major support, came off the lows. You know, it's really oversold. Let's hope that, you know, perhaps we get a move tomorrow to fill that gap a little bit. You know, I talked a lot about in 2013 and 2014 how to accumulate the FXI for a breakout. You had the breakout up here. I was very cautious, and now, you know, I think that there's an opportunity. Again, how many times on TV did you have to hear about the crash in China? So that typically means, you know, you get a bounce. So we'll see. Big, huge volume. So we'll see what goes on there. Plus, you know, same, I think, kind of thing for the CHAU. Look at the size of that volume. My goodness, look at the size of that move. Some guys took that home long yesterday, added today. I actually just put a little bit on today. You know, it didn't take that pain, so maybe, you know, we'll get a little rewarded there. But this is very, very, very risky as far as the CHAU. And then in individual stock land, it felt as if the futures were bought and stocks kind of lagged, and stocks came with the futures. You know, and they had some big ranges, but, you know, some things, you know, that got hit hard came back. You know, Facebook, they definitely cleaned out. Let me just remove the volume here. They definitely cleaned out a lot of stops, and maybe even, you know, got some people out, but it did close okay. Went below the pivot, came back above it, you know, still flagging. Probably just needs a, you know, a little time here. If the market's going to be any good, this should be, you know, one of your leaders moving forward. Okay, and it's been acting well today. Just, you know, got hit. They were like, okay, if everything's getting hit, this has got to get hit. And then it took a little while to come back. Somebody was talking about LinkedIn today. Yeah, look at the outside day LinkedIn into the gap. Maybe it's worth a trade. What did Twitter do? Twitter, you know, still hanging around in this lower range. I have options on from last week. I'm hoping something happens here. Not really trading it, but you did get another red dog reversal on top of this one that never got violated. If you're not over trading it, it's still hanging in there. Maybe at some point it gets going. Apple, you know, decent reversal today. I did not play it, but some people did, and if you did and you took it home, maybe with everything else, it kind of gaps up tomorrow. Would be nice. It's in line. It's still in this, you know, channel type trend, and it's just not doing anything special. But it's still hanging around. And if you pressed here, you probably got hurt the same way if you pressed there. So now we'll see what's next as we get closer to earnings. Tesla had a downgrade, got really hit, but at least, you know, it did hold the 21-day. I think some of you guys were buying on the 21-day. If you did, you made some money. You know, now it's probably need to have a little time to rebuild above it. Okay, it was a pretty harsh downgrade. You know, it broke the 8-day first, and then it held the 21-day, which is what it's been holding. Okay, this majority of the time. So far, see if it'll, you know, rebuild there. Amazon, what'd you do? Wow, what a big range! My goodness. Hold on, let me get my little trusty pencil. Came to the bottom of the range, and came right back up. Cleaned out some stops. You know, not much to do here. I don't know if it's just going to get up and go, but it's still in this range. Looks, you know, looks fine. Just hard to trade. If you made money short, you had to, you know, you had to move out of there quick. Let's see what it did on the 5-minute. If you have to be trading these with the 5-minute. Okay, so here was, you know, your outside, your open, boom. Here's when it broke support. You know, you had your low, a little bit of a higher low, and then actually the cleanest move really happened in the afternoon when it went sideways, didn't, you know, sell off, and then from 433 all the way up to 438. Nice move. Some would call this a little bit of like intraday cup and handle type pattern. And now you'll see, you know, it probably needs a little bit of time, but you'll see what happens there tomorrow. What did Netflix do? Netflix, this is your 5-minute. Let's go back to the daily. You know, still hanging around, still in the spot. If you shorted it below this, you probably got squeezed, but it wasn't a great buy either. Definitely just building, nothing so, you know, to really write home about there. Fit, you know, it's taking its time. It got upgraded today, and then they hit it, and it still held the 8-day. So this is definitely a stronger stock. You know, if it were to get above this in the next session or so, maybe it gets back to highs. You just have to be a bit careful. And then you had some laggards. You had the casinos that have been holding up better. I screwed that up. You know, some sales traders who really like it, they've been pounding the table early on in the morning I bought too much of it and then hit it out when the market broke, and I never went back to it. And look at the move on WYNN. Wow. Okay, so it just goes to show you that sometimes things can change. And you know how you know when things change? You get a gap up, like you had in WYNN. Here's your gap up, and it defended it. Okay, that's your first gap up, sideways, follow through. Here, you gapped up, okay, filled the gap, not enough power. Okay, that showed you could go lower. This time, gap up, sideways, continuation, and if you made money there, congratulations. Okay, maybe it's the start of something. You can get a move to maybe 120 or so. LVS also was showing relative strength all morning. And this, has a bit of room. These stocks have been dead. But every now and then you get a bottom type trade, I guess. So at this point, maybe it hits the 200-day to see if it reclaims it or gets rejected there. MBLY tried to be strong all day, gave way, and then came roaring back. To me, this still is like a best in breed. I got stopped out of it, below the 8-day, didn't go back to it. I'm going to hopefully have a chance to find a comfortable way to get back in. Still looks really good. Still above the 8-day, not a lot of stocks above the 8-day. The weakness in Tesla kind of threw me off a little bit here. And overall, this does seem as if it's, best in breed, took out this descending channel, and then at some point, if this quarter's earnings are good and they show growth, and the world and the market wants to see growth, it could take that out, and that would be nice there for MBLY. So keep learning how this trades, and there is a bid there. If you have it in the drawer from when we talked about it here, just keep it in the drawer and try not to open that drawer up for a long time. Goldman Sachs had the best bounce. You look here, it also did a nice red dog reversal where it traded below the 50-day, stopped people out, came back above it, and now you'll see if it builds. Okay, first day. The other banks weren't as strong as that, but wow, look at the size of these travel ranges. So we'll see what happens there. I didn't go with any of the banks just because they were the last ones to come up, but we'll see. That's really it. Today you came in with a plan. That's all you could do as a trader. You wait for, you have a plan, you have levels, you wait for the market to confirm which way it's going to go. I was pretty neutral to negative, and I actually came in pretty neutral because I had 4 or 5 longs after yesterday's action when we basically filled the downside gap and figured if we can't go down, we'd probably go up a little bit, and we opened up, and then things just got hit hard off the bat. And then when we traded below that, 205.50 pivot in the spiders or the 2054 in the SPX, that was the rubber match spot. We went below it. You could have made money short. You could have had that 204 area mapped out, or you could have waited for that 5-minute bar and said, okay, I'm going to cover my short, see what's next. You saw them move right back to that pivot, and then once it blasted above it, hopefully if you had short on the brain, you covered. Maybe you didn't get long right away because you're like, what, I got to regroup here. I was really bearish, and now I don't know what to do. Instead of just fighting it the whole way up. Or you waited maybe until it got back up to, the 206.50, held in there, and then you got the second move. That's pretty much what I had to wait to do because I wasn't in front of my desk, and then I wasn't able to spread out because I had my Fox Business segment at 310. It was supposed to be at 310, and it wound up being 325 because I am a partner. I am the chief strategist. I am also a media guy, so I have to wear many hats. So sometimes I'm not just in front of my desk trading, which is really where I make my living. But it is what it is. Hopefully it helped you maneuver the market. It helped you on the VTF when you saw the spiders just stay long, besides the FXI. And then towards the end of the day, picked up a few more positions to see if we get some kind of follow through, which if you follow Redler All Access, you'll see, you'll see it on the note. And just to tell you if you are watching, and I'll tell you the luxury. I went home long the FXI, the spiders, the CHAU, FXI from yesterday, CHU from today, spiders from today, little Facebook, little FIT, and the XLE. So 6 longs, and we'll see if there's some kind of follow through tomorrow and figure out what's next and figure what else looks good to work in for trades or maybe even a little bit more. But if you caught the red dog reversal today and you had a great day, congratulations. We talk about it all the time. Your risk was defined, your plan was in front of you, the market traded, and hopefully you executed. And if you didn't, it's going to be another one. So don't beat yourself up. Have a great night.